The truth? Monica deserved better than an empty church and Drew showing up uninvited. For decades, Tracy and Monica perfected the art of sabotage, two women locked in a never-ending war of wit and ego. Watching Tracy navigate grief now is nothing short of riveting, proof that Jane Elliott remains a force who can wring nuance out of even the most exhausted soap trope. But let's be honest, for all the beauty of this memorial service, the specter of absence loomed large. John, Anna, Stuart, Leslie, all gone, leaving behind a Quartermaine legacy that feels increasingly like a ghost story. And then, of course, came the unwelcome intruder. Drew, the eternal dead weight of Port Charles, chose that moment to saunter in. For a man who disrespected Monica in life, his presence at her farewell was not a tender gesture but a slap in the face. The writers may have intended catharsis. What they delivered was insult. One half expected Tracy to shove him directly into oncoming traffic. And frankly, who would have objected? Contrast that with Jason, whose flashback to Monica's words, "Whatever anger we had, you are my son," landed with genuine emotional weight. Steve Burton carried the moment with raw sincerity, reminding the audience that Jason truly was Monica's son, not merely by blood, but by bond. The fact that both Burton and Elliott delivered such layered, authentic performances amid their own real-world grief only deepens the impact. Both deserve Emmys. Both will undoubtedly continue to carry this storyline with brilliance as Monica's legacy is put to rest. Yet, as moving as the performances were, the staging was a disappointment. The church looked embarrassingly empty, a failure of production design that undermined the character's stature. Monica was not a footnote in Port Charles. She was the heart of General Hospital itself. Leslie Charleson's decades on the show demanded more than vacant pews. Still, the tribute shone through in the cracks. Jane, Wally, Steve, all of them blurred the line between actor and character, their emotion achingly real. Wally Kurth in particular broke hearts twice over, his voice cracking with grief in scenes that proved, yet again, how criminally underused he has been on this show. The episode also served as an unintentional refresher course in Quartermaine lineage. Emily, the adopted daughter Monica took in after her mother's death. Jason, Alan's son from Susan Moore, embraced by Monica as her own. AJ, her biological child with Alan. And Dawn, the daughter she gave up young, only to reconnect with years later. Drew, by contrast, was a retroactive invention, a twin conjured out of thin air when Steve Burton returned. He has never felt like Monica's child, and his presence in that chapel only highlighted that fiction. Soap operas thrive on reinvention, but they also demand reverence. If General Hospital insists on rewriting its own history, it should at least respect the characters and actors who built it. Monica's farewell was beautiful in many respects, but it deserved better than half-empty seats and the clumsy intrusion of a character who never truly belonged. If you think Nathan's homecoming is a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention. General Hospital rarely misses an opportunity to manufacture family drama, and the return of Nathan West has opened a particularly thorny question. Who exactly matters most in young James's life? His biological father, freshly resurrected from soap opera purgatory? His doting but peripheral Uncle Cody? Or poor Spinelli, who has quietly done more child-rearing than half the men in Port Charles combined, only to be shoved aside once again? At first glance, Nathan's reappearance should settle the matter. He's the father, and biology usually trumps sentiment in daytime courtrooms and family sagas alike. But this is Port Charles, where biology is about as reliable as a paternity test handled by Liesl Obrecht. If this really is Nathan, untainted by Peter August brain transplants or Faison's latest disguise, then one could argue he has every right to reclaim his place. Yet the show's history makes skepticism mandatory, and Cody seems poised to be the lone voice doubting Nathan's miraculous return. Naturally, this will irritate everyone until the writers decide whether Cody is paranoid or prescient. Cody himself is a curious figure in this triangle. He has no illusions of being James's father. At best, he's the cool uncle who supplies horses and lighthearted bonding. And yet, he genuinely loves the boy. Cutting him out would not only be cruel, it would also be wildly out of character for Nathan, who always embraced Maxie's complicated family web. The real Nathan would recognize that love is not a finite pie. James gaining a father does not mean losing an uncle. Only an imposter Nathan, Peter in a borrowed body perhaps, would attempt to sever those ties. Spinelli, however, is the unspoken casualty. For years, he has quietly helped Maxie raise her brood, only to be left standing in the background whenever an official father figure reappears. If Nathan resumes his role, Spinelli risks being reduced to comic relief and emotional collateral. One almost hopes the writers experiment with the why choose genre and allow Maxie, Nathan, and Spinelli to coexist without eviscerating one of them for cheap drama. But given this show's track record, Spinelli should probably brace himself for another heartbreak. The looming chaos, of course, extends beyond James's household. Dante's name keeps surfacing, not because he has stepped up for James, he hasn't, but because, as Nathan's former partner, he should have. Instead, Dante's absence has been glaring, leaving Cody to shoulder more significance than he ever expected. Meanwhile, Maxie herself remains sidelined in a coma, though the moment she wakes up, she will almost certainly veto any attempt to erase her brother from her son's life. In the end, James's situation illustrates one of General Hospital's oldest tricks. Resurrections solve nothing. They only rearrange the chessboard. If Nathan is truly himself, he will honor Cody's place, respect Spinelli's contributions, and spare James yet another round of tug-of-war. If not, then brace for the inevitable reveal that this is Peter, Faison, or some other recycled villain with a new face. Either way, James may need a flowchart just to keep track of who's dad, who's uncle, and who's a temporary stand-in until the next plot twist. The fastest way to destroy Monica's legacy? Hand her estate over to Drew. Speculating over Monica's will has become a parlor game for General Hospital fans, with every theory sounding perfectly logical and therefore doomed to never materialize. These writers rarely resist the urge to ignore family history in favor of decisions designed to irritate viewers. The leading candidate, of course, is Michael. He is AJ's only heir, the last direct bloodline from Alan and Monica, and the one who has long been positioned as the family's heir apparent. On paper, it makes perfect sense. Monica adored him, she could trust him, and he fits the archetype of the future patriarch. But the Quartermains have never been that tidy. Jason is another possibility. He is Monica's legal son and her most enduring relationship. While Jason himself would rather take a bullet than deal with household squabbles, his quiet authority is the very reason he could handle the squabbling masses. Tracy, Ned, Olivia, Drew, Willow, better than anyone. The trouble is, Jason's disinterest has always been his most consistent trait. Monica would know he doesn't want the responsibility. Then there's Jake, the forgotten grandchild. His father ignores him, his mother isn't wealthy, and the family at large rarely acknowledges him. His inheritance was stolen by Tracy and Luke years ago, and his father left half his estate to a woman who hardly needed it. If Monica wanted justice, she would leave Jake everything and instruct him to toss out the relatives who spent years overlooking him. But justice has never been this show's guiding principle. Tracy is another compelling contender. Their feud turned into grudging respect, and Monica may have left her the house as a final ironic gift. Poetic justice with a Quartermain edge. The audience would relish Tracy lording her ownership over the others, even if only until the day she passes it on to Michael or Jason. Olivia, too, has emerged as a dark horse candidate. Imagine Tracy declaring, "My house," only for everyone to remind her it legally belongs to Olivia. That running gag practically writes itself. And then, inevitably, there's Drew. Unfortunately for him, Monica never adopted him, and biology is not on his side. Yet Drew's delusions of entitlement remain unmatched. He clings to, "Monica was my mother too," but the facts betray him. He is Susan Moore's son, not Monica's. Monica welcomed him, yes, but she owed him nothing. His narcissism ensures he will contest any decision, even without a leg to stand on. The idea of splitting ownership between Jason and Drew to bring them closer would be an insult to Monica's intelligence. She was a world-class doctor, not a sentimental fool. Some suggest trusts for the grandchildren, with Scout, Danny, and Jake receiving inheritances when they come of age, carefully safeguarded from Drew's influence. Others dream of Yuri inheriting everything, tasked with running the Quartermain home as a refuge for the forgotten. Anything, it seems, is preferable to Drew walking away with the house keys. The truth is, Monica could leave her estate to anyone. But the most logical choice is Michael. Blood heir, adored grandson, and AJ's legacy. Jason might get a symbolic piece, Tracy might secure a poetic clause. Olivia might snag the house as a twist. But one thing is certain, Drew deserves nothing, and any attempt to insert him into this legacy would be both ludicrous and insulting. The Quartermain mansion is the beating heart of General Hospital. Whatever happens, its fate must serve the family's legacy, not Drew's ego. What General Hospital doesn't want to admit is that they've turned infertility and adoption into cheap soap fodder. At this point, General Hospital has officially run out of ideas. The show has devolved into an endless recycling bin of soap cliches, and the writers seem to think no one notices. Unfortunately, everyone notices. The most glaring offender is the relentless resurrection parade. Yes, soaps thrive on miraculous returns, but 2 characters in a single month, Britt and Nathan, is indulgence bordering on parody. A miracle loses its impact when it's handed out like free samples at the grocery store. Even worse, veteran characters stand around acting shocked each time, as though they haven't already seen half their friends climb out of a grave. By now, there should be a standardized back from the dead form filed at City Hall. UD40. Line up at window 8. Reclaim your assets. Efficiency is the least the show owes its viewers. Then there's the parentage quagmire. The classic "Who's the Daddy?" once carried dramatic weight. Now it's mutated into "Who's the real parent?" Surrogate versus biological, adoptive versus birth, legal versus emotional. It's a storyline on repeat, currently stretched across Adela's surrogate drama, Britt and Liesel's tug-of-war over Rocco, and Gio's mess. Not only is this exhausting, it trivializes real-life issues like infertility and adoption by turning them into melodramatic ping-pong matches. Children aren't property to be fought over like Quartermain stock, but GH scripts treat them exactly that way. And speaking of lazy shorthand, why does no one in Port Charles know how to shoot properly? Drew could have been dispatched cleanly, but instead, we get yet another half-hearted whodunit that fizzles into nothing, just like the unresolved shootings of Cyrus, Jagger, and Austin. The PCPD's incompetence has gone from laughable to insulting. The audience deserves at least one solved crime, not another file tossed into the narrative black hole. Even when characters manage to stay dead, the writers undermine the weight of loss by stacking comas and pregnancies as their go-to plot fillers. Comas have become the new vacation excuse, while pregnancies rain down on characters with little regard for logic or responsibility. Maxie, Elizabeth, Carly. 3 kids each. 3 different fathers apiece. In an era of contraception, it reads less like reality and more like narrative laziness. Layer on top the phallocentric, heteronormative bubble that still defines GH, and the storytelling begins to feel archaic. Surrogacy arcs drag women back into medieval frameworks of legitimacy and ownership. Who does Rocco belong to? Who gets to rename him? The entire concept reeks of property disputes, not family drama. Add to this the absence of meaningful queer representation. Christina's botched arcs hardly count, and the show's worldview feels not only stale, but willfully narrow. The final insult is the contradiction of tone. Characters weep over one death, while 2 others stroll back from the afterlife in the same week. Tragedy loses gravity, joy feels cheapened, and the entire narrative becomes a hollow echo chamber. Killing off Britt was unnecessary, especially when legacy actors are aging and the show desperately needs younger anchors. Instead, the writers treat death like a temporary plot detour, erasing any emotional investment. At its best, GH once balanced outrageous twists with grounded emotion. Now it has collapsed into a formula. back from the dead, surprise pregnancy, long-lost child, rinse, repeat. What passes for drama is little more than tired tropes shuffled around like cards in a rigged deck. This isn't bold storytelling. It's creative bankruptcy. They say soaps don't matter anymore, so why does Monica's death feel like the end of an era? For decades, General Hospital has been less of a soap opera and more of a family heirloom, passed down through generations alongside Avon lipstick, Jean Naté, and the scent of Marlboro Reds. Viewers didn't just tune in. They grew up with the show, scheduling afternoons around it, racing home from school, and learning quickly that if you wanted to stay in Grandma's living room, you stayed quiet when Steve Hardy and Jesse Brewer appeared on screen. The grief over Monica's passing isn't just about losing a character, it's about losing the connective tissue to mothers, grandmothers, and sisters who once sat with us, ironing, folding laundry, or making coffee, as GH flickered on the television. Monica was never universally beloved. In fact, many matriarchs actively disliked her, but her presence defined an era. Watching Tracy react with brittle dignity only underscores how few legacy characters remain, each one another reminder that the family tree and the viewing circle keeps thinning. Everyone has their touchstone era. For some, it was Monica, Jeff, and Rick's tangled triangle, or the Leslie versus Monica feud that could fuel an entire thesis. On to competitive womanhood. For others, it was Luke and Laura, complete with the infamous attack, rewritten by time as the beginning of soap opera's most mythologized romance. Some fans drifted in during the Ice Princess saga, others during Bobby Spencer's rise, and still others in the glory years of the late 70s and early 80s, when the show had the audacity to be unabashedly over the top. The nostalgia is intoxicating. The wall phones, the rush home from the bus stop, the VCR tapes carefully labeled, the smell of Giorgio or opium perfume wafting through the house while mothers whispered scandalized judgments about Monica or cheered for Laura. Even the commercials, Love's Baby Soft, Bon de Soleil, Jean Naté, become inseparable from the viewing experience, proof that memory clings to scent as tightly as it clings to storylines. What makes Monica's farewell so wrenching is that it feels like the audience is losing more than an actress or a character. They're losing a piece of their own past. Every legacy death now doubles as a personal eulogy for the viewer's mothers, grandmothers, and childhood selves who shared the couch and the chocolate. The show endures, yes, but the shared company does not. Still, the devotion persists. Viewers will watch until the last hospital bed is wheeled off screen, not because the show is flawless, but because it has become part of their DNA. Tracy's gray hair, Lucy's red dress, Jeannie Francis's unwavering presence. These are not just performances. They are continuity, comfort, and, in many ways, the last surviving link to generations gone. The death of Monica may be the end of an era, but it is also proof of why General Hospital remains irreplaceable. It is not just entertainment, it is inheritance. Nothing kills drama faster than a coma, and Maxie's is Exhibit A. General Hospital has never been shy about recycling plot lines, but the latest decision to ship Maxie off via coma is uninspired even by soap standards. The explanation? A poisoned jar of face cream that sent her collapsing mid-broadcast. Yes, face cream. Because apparently all it takes to fell a Quartermain-adjacent heroine is a dab of moisturizer gone rogue. The supposed mystery drug angle is almost comical in its lack of sophistication. A topical cream that makes people pass out sounds less like the work of a criminal mastermind and more like rejected product testing at a discount beauty line. Viewers were even teased with possibilities of poisoning, investigations, and connections to larger plots, only for the writers to abandon the thread entirely. Evidence was conveniently ignored, police work non-existent, and not a single character bothered to ask whether the cream should be tested. Why would they? This is Port Charles, where cause and effect is more of a suggestion than a rule. Worse, the coma itself accomplishes nothing narratively. Lulu just woke up from one, Nina spent years in one, And now Maxie joins the Coma Club as though the writers are handing out memberships. So much for originality. A character like Maxie, who would never willingly abandon her children, deserved something more dramatic than a nap with IV fluids. A presumed death, a kidnapping, even captivity at the hands of a classic villain. Any of these would have delivered the soapy drama fans expect. Instead, she's been parked off-screen, her children left motherless, while Lucas pops in for perfunctory checkups. The timing only adds insult to injury. Maxie collapses just as Nathan West is brought back, robbing fans of the emotional fireworks that Reunion could have sparked. If the show knew Kirsten Storms was taking a break, couldn't they have aligned the storylines more thoughtfully? Instead, Nathan's return feels hollow, Maxie's absence glaring, and the potential for riveting drama squandered. Meanwhile, Sidwell's role in this farce is as undercooked as the rest. Supposedly, he poisoned the cream to keep Maxie quiet about Sunny's dirty money flowing into deception, fearing her ties to the police through Mac. Logical enough, but only if one ignores the gaping holes in execution. How did he know she'd be the one to apply the cream? Why hasn't anyone followed up on this supposed poisoning? And if Martin is sitting on vital knowledge about her intent to go to the police, why hasn't it resurfaced? Instead, the storyline dangles in limbo, its loose ends collecting dust. Britt's return could have been the saving grace. Maxie's coma directly intersects with Britt's shady science, offering a chance for redemption, guilt, or at the very least, narrative tension. Yet Britt wanders back into town blissfully unaware, while the writers pretend the dots don't connect. Ultimately, Maxie's coma functions as the worst kind of plot device. A convenient excuse to bench a character without delivering payoff. It sidelines a legacy heroine, abandons promising mysteries, and leaves fans watching yet another lazy loop of recycled tropes. In a show built on melodrama, Maxie deserved something bold. Instead, she got face cream. Also next on GH, Michael tries to shore up his alibi. Nina delivers shocking news. Anna gets new evidence in Drew's shooting. General Hospital spoilers for Monday, September 29th, 2025, reveal Tracy unsurprisingly giving an icy welcome. Meanwhile, Alexis finds herself in danger while Nina delivers shocking news. At the end of Friday's episode, Tracy opened up the Quartermain crypt after Monica's funeral and found a mysterious person already there. We didn't find out who she was, but expect to find out on Monday. Of course, Tracy will give this person an icy welcome. It is Tracy Quartermain, after all. She always leads with iciness and sarcasm. Who is this woman, and how is she about to affect the Quartermain family? Martin seems to think this person will unleash karma on Tracy. In other news, Alexis has been busy holding Rick captive and ruining the day Drew was born. She has to adhere to a restraining order that prevents her from seeing her granddaughter, and she has to put up with Scout living with Willow, of all people. However, on Monday, Alexis suddenly finds herself in danger. Does this have to do with Rick? Will someone come to her rescue, or will she have to save herself? Look for Nina to deliver shocking news that most likely concerns Nathan's sudden return to the land of the living. According to the video sneak preview at the end of Friday's episode, she will be the one to tell Obrecht and Britt at GH, and things looked a little touch and go there. She'll have to carefully moderate the situation. After Monica's funeral, Michael has to, once again, think about being the #1 person of interest in Drew's shooting. He feels the need to shore up his alibi since Jacinda doesn't think the cops believe her at all. How does Michael think he can accomplish this? Finally, Anna receives new evidence in Drew's shooting. This may shed light on a new suspect or be the nail in the coffin for an existing suspect. Who'll be in big trouble after Monday's episode? It's going to be a thrilling week in Port Charles. General Hospital spoilers for September 29th, October 3rd, 2025 tease bombshell returns and a life-changing shocker. With Nathan back from the dead, his return is rocking the lives of those who loved him. But the life it's going to rock the most is of the one person who isn't currently in Port Charles, Maxie. Still in a coma at a Boston clinic, it's her loved ones who will have to pick of the pieces of Nathan's return. On Monday, Nina delivers the shocking news to Britt and Obrecht. while Felicia breaks the news to Spinelli that his girlfriend's husband is alive. As Erica Slezak debuts as Veronica Bard, Tracy gives her an icy welcome inside the Quartermain crypt on Monday. By Tuesday, she'll make a vow. Will this vow be in Veronica's favor or against the newcomer? Midweek, Monica's will is read, and it doesn't go to anyone's plan. Odds are, the new owner of the Quartermain mansion will be announced, and only time will tell who that is. At the same time, Drew is on the warpath. Could this be because he's left out of Monica's will? On Monday, Alexis will be in danger, while Anna gets new evidence in Drew's shooting. As for Portia, she'll get life-changing news on Thursday. Will her affair with Isaiah finally catch up with her, and she'll find out she's pregnant? Who just showed up inside the Quartermain crypt? As the celebration of Monica's life comes to a close, a mystery guest crashed the crypt on the September 26, 2025 episode of General Hospital. Everyone in Port Charles came together to remember Monica and her portrayer, the late Leslie Charleson. But after Drew showed up at the church, kicking him out lit a fire in Tracy to finally get up and speak about her sister-in-law. She spoke fondly about her and her house before everyone gathered there for refreshments. As the night went on, Tracy eventually sneaked out of the house and to the crypt where all her loved ones remain. But when she walked in, she spotted a mystery woman standing among all the names. When she asked who she was, all the woman said was, "Someone who's waited a long time to meet you." As One Life to Live alum Erica Slezak debuts in this mystery role, eagle-eyed viewers caught her credited as Veronica Bard, which was Monica's maiden name. Only time will tell how things play out with Veronica, and if she'll go head-to-head with Tracy. Meanwhile, after Gio surprisingly showed up at the church to honor Monica, Dante and Brooklyn both hoped their son would join them at the mansion. When Gio did arrive, he was greeted by Tracy and even began connecting with his grandfather, Ned. While he didn't speak to either of his parents, it's clear Gio is slowly but surely coming around to being a Quartermain. General Hospital spoilers for September 29th tease Tracy learning the identity of the mystery woman in the crypt. Did you enjoy Slezak's GH debut? Let us know in the comments section. General Hospital recaps for Friday, September 26th reveal Drew Kane darkened the door of All Saints Church, crashing Monica Quartermain's funeral. Plus, Gio Palmieri acknowledged his Quartermain heritage, Tracy Quartermain found a trespasser, and more. As Monica's memorial service came to an end, Michael Corinthos invited everyone present to return to Monica's house and inquired if anyone else wished to share a few words. The Quartermains turned their gaze towards Tracy, who simply shook her head. Suddenly, the church doors swung open, and in rolled Drew. The congregation gasped as Drew maneuvered his wheelchair to the front and proclaimed, "My name is Drew Quartermain, and I am here to pay tribute to my mother, Monica." Jason Morgan leaped up to stop his twin, but Tracy intervened instead, much to the delight of the legitimate guests. She scoffed and gave a fact check that Drew's surname was Kane, stating that he had no connection to Monica and was not invited to the memorial service. Fuming with anger, Drew muttered that Monica viewed him as a son, thus he belonged there. However, Tracy retorted that he had lost that privilege when he shattered Monica's heart, and to the amusement of onlookers, she pushed him out of the church. She gave the disenfranchised Drew the bum's rush, as she told him, "You are not needed here, nor are you welcomed. In fact, you are loathed," she hissed once they were in the foyers, leaving him in front of the guest book. "That was satisfying," Tracy gushed, as she made her way back into the church, locking the doors to the chapel. GH recaps for Friday, September 26th, reveal that Tracy felt sad as she admitted she should probably say something nice about my sister-in-law, but she had been trying to avoid it. With Jason's encouraging nod, Tracy approached the pulpit. "Okay," she whispered, her voice gaining strength as she went on. "But I'm going to try, because I know if I don't, I'll regret it. Because... She paused, struggling with her words. Taking a deep breath, Tracy opened her arms and said with a smile, "Monica means a lot to me." Reflecting on their complicated past and how she first thought Monica was not good enough for the Quartermains, Tracy remembered that Monica could hold her own. And somewhere in the midst of our epic battles, I came to respect her. In fact, that respect turned into love. As Tracy spoke with deep emotion about the love Monica had for her family, many people in the church wiped tears from their eyes. Brooklyn, Quartermain Chase, and Gio exchanged a glance across the aisle. My brother made her my sister-in-law, but she became my sister. Turning to Monica's portrait, Tracy struggled to hold back tears as she finished her speech. So my sister, it seems I'm the last one left, but don't you worry, that house is yours, she declared, prompting laughter from the group. Alan left it to you, and as long as I'm here, I promise you, it will remain that way, Tracy promised. At the hospital, Martin Gray was surprised to see Drew return so quickly. Drew complained about how much had changed since Monica was with him when his son Oscar Nero passed away. Martin noted that the family was upset about Drew's involvement in Michael and Willow Tate's breakup. Drew grumbled that the Qs thrive on conflict. He added that being publicly rejected showed that he was not seen as a real family member, and likely never would be. Drew said that his wish to keep Monica safe was the only reason he hadn't informed the police that Michael was the one who shot him. A skeptical Martin inquired of Drew whether he truly remembered who had shot him. Drew said, I can't remember anything whatsoever. However, the police don't need to uncover that information, Drew retorted, vowing to do whatever necessary to ensure Michael pays for everything he had lost. Martin noted that Drew's fury was misplaced, as it was Tracy who pressured him to change his name. But Drew maintained that Tracy should also be held accountable. Drew was bound and determined to get revenge on Tracy and Michael, who he blamed for ruining his relationship with Monica. As Laura Collins arrived at the Quartermain's reception, she playfully quipped to Tracy that Monica likely enjoyed witnessing the way she had thrown Drew out of the church. Laura had also spoken kind words in remembrance of Monica at the memorial, as had Lucy Coe as well. Brooklyn admitted to Dante Falconeri that she wasn't quite ready to forgive her mother, but she acknowledged that Lois Tarullo had been immensely helpful. She had located Tracy at the casino the previous night. The two of them also concurred that it was heartening to see Gio at the memorial service, even though he still harbored anger towards them. On the patio, Jason opened up to Lulu Spencer about his feelings of social exhaustion, yet he planned to stay due to all the occasions he had missed. Lulu reassured Jason that despite his absence from the house, Monica always ensured his spirit was present. Soon after, Laura came outside to join her daughter and stated that Monica had made her a better person. Lulu wrapped her arms around her mother as the mayor wept over how deeply she missed her friend. Laura had known Monica ever since she was a candy striper at GH, and Monica was still married to Jeff Weber. Elsewhere in the house, Michael expressed his gratitude to Dante and Harrison Chase for temporarily halting the Drew investigation to support the family. In the meanwhile, Tracy confided in Stella Henry about her feelings of abandonment by her loved ones. Just as Stella was reassuring Tracy that she is enveloped by a wonderfully eccentric family that loves her, Gio made his entrance. Tracy felt a wave of emotion when Gio revealed that the memorial had provided him with a fresh outlook on his circumstances. He told Tracy witnessing the unity of the Qs filled him with pride to be part of the family and her great-grandson. After giving the staff a day off, Olivia Quartermain took charge of the kitchen, preparing all of Monica's favorite dishes. When word spread that Gio had arrived, Olivia assured Dante that his son's presence was a positive development. Dante approached his son in the living room with some hesitation, but sensing that one of his parents wanted to talk, Gio quickly expressed his condolences to Ned Quartermain. When Ned mentioned that he would love to catch up sometime if Gio was interested, Gio seized the opportunity to discuss their mutual love for music with his grandfather. From the other side of the room, GH recaps for the September 26th episode note that Brooklyn beamed when she saw her son and father sharing a laugh. Later on, Gio entered the kitchen where Ned, Olivia, Michael, and Jason entertained him with tales about Monica. Brooklyn felt a pang of disappointment as Gio exited without engaging in any significant conversation with her. Still, Chase reassured his wife that simply having Gio present was a small victory. Meanwhile, Tracy stood alone in the foyer. glancing at the array of framed family pictures on the console table before quietly slipping out the front door. Tracy was headed to the Quartermain crypt. Once all the guests had departed, Ned, Olivia, Brooklyn, Chase, Michael, and Jason came together in the living room to celebrate Monica's memory. Meanwhile, Jason quietly slipped out into the foyer with his drink to say a heartfelt farewell to his mother on the staircase, tears brimming in his eyes. After a montage showcasing Monica and Charleston over the years, Laura, Stella, Felicia Scorpio, Portia Robinson, and Elizabeth Baldwin congregated at the GH Memorial Wall. There, they put Dr. Quartermain's portrait. "You put in so much effort. Now it's time to rest," Laura expressed to her beloved friend. As Tracy approached the Quartermain crypt, she was taken aback to find the door slightly open. She stepped into the mausoleum and immediately confronted the woman present. "Who are you, and what are you doing here?" accusing her of trespassing. The woman, Erica Slezak, making her debut on GH as Veronica Bard, turned to face her and said, "You must be Tracy Quartermain." She introduced herself as someone who had been anticipating this meeting for quite some time and will claim to be Monica's long-lost sister. General Hospital spoilers reveal that Portia Robinson is teetering on the edge of another impulsive leap into Dr. Isaiah Gannon's arms. After her awkward blow-up with Curtis Ashford in front of Trina Robinson and Marshall Ashford, declaring their marriage over, again, Portia is reeling from the sting of learning Curtis hasn't cut ties with his ex-wife Jordan Ashford, despite never promising to do so. Though Portia swore off her affair with Isaiah after their passionate night, her emotional spiral could drive her back for a third helping, seeking comfort in his embrace. With her marriage in tatters and family tensions high, will Portia's return to Isaiah seal her divorce or spark a new chapter? Portia's latest fight with Curtis, fueled by his cozy drink with Jordan on the night of Drew Kane's shooting, left her feeling betrayed. Even though her own fling with Isaiah makes her outrage hypocritical, declaring their marriage done for the second time, she's drowning in regret and loneliness. Plenty of fans are already thinking her hurt could push her back to Isaiah, whose attentive charm offers solace Curtis can't. Her history of secrets, like Trina Robinson's paternity and tampering with Heather Weber's lab work, shows Portia acts on impulse when cornered, making a third rendezvous all too likely. Isaiah's arms were a refuge after Portia's first marriage-ending fight with Curtis, and now, with her emotions raw, he's the perfect escape. A late-night call or a hospital run-in could reignite their passion, especially if Isaiah senses her vulnerability. We have to wonder if this is just comfort-seeking or the start of something deeper. Isaiah's own fallout with Jordan makes him a kindred spirit, but going back for another round risks exposure, especially if Trina or Stella Henry catches on to what she's up to, turning Portia's fling into a public scandal that could cost her family and career. Portia's potential third dip with Isaiah could be the final nail in her marriage's coffin, especially if Curtis learns of it amid his own leanings toward Jordan. The internet is on fire with fans wondering if this affair will push Portia to fully embrace Isaiah or force her to confront her cycle of betrayal. If Trina discovers her mom's actions, it could fracture their bond, while Curtis might find solace with Jordan. Will Portia's return to Isaiah be a fleeting escape or a new path? Keep checking back with us for more GH news and spoilers right around the corner. General Hospital spoilers and updates suggest that the kiss between Jason Morgan and Britt Westbourne could infuriate Carly Spencer when it happens. This pivotal romantic moment might ignite some anger, so let's explore how the situation could unfold and how Carly might react when she sees it. Britt has been resisting her feelings for Jason, but her defenses are beginning to weaken. Jason confided in Britt about Monica Quartermain's passing, which certainly aided in the process of mending their relationship. It's evident that Britt and Jason are journeying back towards romance, so it's only a question of how long it will take for them to reach all the significant milestones. Without a doubt, Jason and Britt are bound to take the next step with an intense kiss sooner or later. Once Britt and Jason share that kiss, it could be the perfect moment for Carly to appear and witness their connection. Carly might show up and catch Jason sharing a kiss with Britt, which would undoubtedly trigger her, regardless of if she's dating Jack Brennan or not. GH fans are aware that Carly is becoming more protective and possessive regarding Jason. It's second nature for her. This certainly spells trouble for Britt, who isn't fond of the notion of always being in Carly's shadow and dealing with her loved ones, and she doesn't like to share her men. However, Britt may find herself with no option but to confront Carly and battle for Jason's affection. And an intense battle it would be. Jason craves love in his life and could be ready to embrace his feelings for Britt. But one thing's for sure, Carly will stir up issues. The envious, green-eyed monster of jealousy would surely consume Carly if she sees romantic moments shared between Jason and Britt. This is particularly true if Carly happens to catch a glimpse of Britt and Jason sharing a kiss as their relationship grows deeper. Eventually, Jason and Britt should take their relationship to the next level by getting intimate, which Carly will definitely disapprove of. Britt may not be the easiest person to love, yet Jason is falling deeply and might soon be ready for a love confession. According to General Hospital spoilers, the show appears to be fully committed to Jason and Britt as a couple, so stay tuned for updates on any significant romantic twists. General Hospital spoilers are in for Monday, September 29th, 2025. In the next episode, fans can expect Tracy Quartermaine to demand answers from Veronica Ronnie Bard. Jacinda warns Michael Corinthos. Plus, Ava Jerome deals with Rick Lansing. Keep reading, and let's talk about what is coming up in the ABC soap opera. A preview clip for Monday's episode shows Ava in what appears to be Alexis Davis's basement, the same place where Alexis, Ava, and Christina Corinthos Davis are holding Rick hostage. They don't plan on keeping him there forever, just until the bonds mature. In any case, Ava shows up in the basement. When Rick complains, she claims to have something for that. Over at the police station, Anna Devane takes a phone call. It's not clear who she is talking to, but she says, "That is a turn of events. Something shocking is coming down the pipe for the police commissioner, so fans should stay tuned." General Hospital spoilers for Monday, September 29th reveal that Nina Reeves will continue trying to keep the peace. Nina tried with Britt Westbourne and Liesl Obrecht before. That didn't turn out so great, but maybe this time will be different. The preview clip for Monday, September 29th shows Nina in the hospital hallway. The blonde declares that they are going to need each other to get through the Nathan West situation. Speaking of Nathan, he meets Willow Tate. Over with Felicia Scorpio, she has a debate with Damian Spinelli. The preview clip shows Felicia urging Spinelli that James West has a right to know that his father is alive. Based on Spinelli's face in the preview clip, he doesn't seem to agree. Is this really about James, or is Spinelli worried about losing Maxie Jones when she wakes up from her coma? Fans will also see Jacinda give a report to Michael. However, the adult worker tells Michael that she's not sure if they bought the story. Looks like these two may start scheming. Plus, Tracy demands to know why Ronnie is really back in Port Charles. Ronnie seems shocked and a bit offended. However, Tracy must have a reason for distrusting the woman's surprise appearance at Monica Quartermaine's funeral. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most during the week of September 29th, 2025? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Keep watching the soap on ABC to find out what happens next.